6 AM. I've literally rolled out of bed to put this hat on. I'm gonna weigh in, I've got check-in photos to do, and then we've got 40 minutes of cardio. Once all that boring shit out of the way, I'm gonna take you through a bit of a day in the life, and I've got some big plans to share with you. This has been on my mind a lot over the last week and a half. I've been back and forth a lot with what I'm gonna do with my season, because I can barely believe I'm saying this, but it's still very much COVID dependent. Okay, so body weight's sitting at 112 this morning, which is I think 0.7 above my lowest. We've had a few freak weigh-ins over the last few days, which has been really strange. So jumped up by literally 1.6 kilos a couple of days ago, but it's coming back down pretty quickly, so that's cool. That was actually pre-going to the toilet as well, so not been to the toilet yet. So we'll take that weigh-in with a pinch of salt. That's probably a new weigh-in, but we'll hold tight for the actual new weigh-in. Before we get started on the cardio though, obviously we do have a couple of things to get done. So number one, hydrate. So I'm going to down about 1 litre of water. I'll then put 200 ml into my espresso and have a Longo espresso shot. Obviously got my drugs to take, so I've got my lipolytic, so yohimbine, clenbuterol, and T3 is also in now. Not necessarily a lipolytic, but something that will speed up fat loss, so I suppose it is. And obviously growth, and I'm also going to take my antibiotics now. Okay, so that is that. Stimulants in, antibiotics in, lipolytics in, L-carnitine, oh my god, in. Absolute pain. Anyway, here is the little cardio studio. So the recumbent's here, we have the laptop here, which is where I sit and watch things. And I'm probably just going to set you up right over here for a very short section of me doing cardio, because that would be very boring. Okay, showered, sorted, fixed up, ready to go now. I'm going to sit at the desk now. What I tend to do on rest days is consume hella more caffeine. Instead of the cafetiere now, what I'll do is I'll push that back a little bit. I'll probably wait till Gigi gets here, offer him a nice little coffee, of course. Of course, of course. And for now, I'm just going to have a couple more pods. I don't actually know how much caffeine is in these, to be honest. Maybe it's worth checking. I've got a consult at 10, but team's growing really, really well at the moment. I'm excited with the team's back to sort of the biggest it's been, which I expected with obviously gyms reopening happening very soon, with the prep season sort of heating up now. You know, content always gets more and more engagement as you get. Oh my god, I don't know why. Right? I'm 28 this year, and my voice is still breaking. The content will get more and more engagement, so obviously there's going to be more interesting coaching, which is excellent. Obviously tomorrow we've got the release of the PDF ebook, the hypertrophy training guide, which is really exciting. There's been a pretty good response to that. I'm getting lots of messages, which is cool. So that will be launched. So today, finishing touches on that, getting it all ready to sort of download for people that purchase it. And yeah, other than that, client check-ins, client setups, you know the vibes. Bow, bow. Do you know what that song is? It's like rolling and controlling freestyle. So the final, look at that, Bottega Veneta. Add that on the Wii transfer. The final files have been sent across from Chelsea at DigiClick Design, so I'm going to take a little look at them now. So the desktop version is like a bit longer. It's the one with sort of all the detail in it, and then the sort of pocket version, if you like, the one that you can have on your phone, is sort of mobile optimized. Obviously has a fair amount less information on it, but we've got an introduction, so we've got principles. So here I talk about intensity and failure, progressive overload, execution, adjusting volume. And then how to warm up, how to prime yourself, terminology, equipment you'll need, upper body, and then we go into the sessions. I'm very excited about this. And we've got the links to the videos, which you can just click on, and then you go straight to YouTube. Boom. It's a mad thing. If you haven't got it yet, head over to my Instagram or go into the description of the video, click the Shopify link, and you'll be able to grab it there. So I'm just upstairs thinking, where's Gigi? Why hasn't he rang the bell? But he decides to text me instead, rather than ring the bell. You know I have a doorbell, right?
Which one?
Well, which one do you think?
Is there 3 flights though?
No. Okay guys, we're now at the sit down part of this video where I'm going to talk you through essentially what's been going on in my head and what I've had to sort out over the last few weeks. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster. I've told people various different things. I've not been public with what I've said because I wasn't sure what the end result was truly going to be. I have now reached a decision on what I'm going to do, and I just wanted to talk you through it and keep you transparent with the journey that I'm going through when it comes to competing this year. So I think last time I spoke about my shows was the first video with Gigi, where I announced I was going to be doing the New York Pro. I signed my contract, I sent that off. That essentially means I'm contractually obliged to compete in that show unless I pull out, which you can do up to 10 days in advance of the show. That obviously isn't something I ever wanted to do. However, a big hurdle was thrown in my way. I thought all was fine. I looked at the kind of rules to getting into America. It seemed that provided you had a test, a negative COVID test, and you were going to a state where you don't have to quarantine, aka Florida, that you'd be fine. What I failed to recognise is that anyone from the UK or the Schengen zone is currently suspended from entering the United States of America. If you've been in that UK or Schengen zone or another few countries for 14 days prior to your arrival to the US. At this point, I honestly thought I was going to have to pull out of the New York Pro. I spoke to Cal. I was like, I don't know how to get around this. It's not worth going all the way to America to do one show, to then have to come back, because essentially what you'd have to do is go to a different country that wasn't a suspended country to then get into America, and you'd have to go there for the 14 days. So that would basically mean 3 or 4 weeks away from the UK to do one show. Which in my head I was thinking this isn't worth it. However, a few things have changed since I'd been going through that conversation in my head. What I didn't realise was there's actually a few shows. I mean, there's shows every week in America following the New York Pro. When I was looking at the calendar, all I saw was Masters, which meant obviously 35 and overs. They're actually Open and Masters, so the calendar just confused me a bit. What this meant was I can do that trip. The time will potentially be worth it because I can go and do the New York Pro and then a string of other shows. And this is always what I wanted to do. I wanted to do sort of 5 or 6 shows this year, see if I can get those points to the Olympia, and obviously see if I can win a show. As you guys know, I've been open in terms of the New York Pro. I don't expect to turn up to that show and win. I know now for sure that I'm going to be going up against some Olympians. Chiron is going to be there. Akeem the Beast, Akeem Williams will be competing. So 2 massive names, 2 big Olympians. Chiron's a top 5 Olympian. I think he's actually come top 3 this year. So, you know, crazy standard. I don't expect to go there and blow these guys out of the water. It was more because this show meant a lot to me. It was the one that I set my sights on. It was the one that I wanted to do, and obviously it was the one that I told you guys I was going to do. So that kind of was where my head was at. With my initial understanding of the calendar, there was a string of shows later in the year which began with the Puerto Rico Pro in the Bahamas. Now, if that was to be my first show, that would put me around 14, 15 weeks out, which at the time of deciding, which it just didn't sit right with me. Like, I'd got into my swing of things with prep, you know, things had started to move. Suddenly going from being 7 weeks out to suddenly being 14 weeks out, it feels like you've added another whole prep on the end of what was already a long prep. You know, I was excited for that New York Pro. I told everyone I was going to do it and I wanted to get stuck in. So pushing my whole season back just didn't sit right with me. So I guess I began looking for some solutions on how I could get to the States, how I can compete, how I can make the process as stress-free as possible, which obviously is kind of easier said than done. However, we have reached sort of a plan. I now have a plan in my mind of what I'm going to do, and that means that we currently sit 4 weeks out from leaving the UK. There is a place in the world that I'm a bit familiar with that is not on the suspended list, and it's somewhere that I can go, it's somewhere that I can train, it's somewhere I don't have to quarantine when I get there, it's somewhere I have connections, and I'm sure by now you know what I'm talking about. I'm obviously talking about Dubai. So Dubai is obviously in the wrong direction. It's 7 hours the wrong way, it's away from America, but as I said, I've got connections there, I know the gyms, I know my way around, and I'm familiar with the place. I think it's the place where I can go and not be stressed about where I am. The other option was Mexico, which just didn't sit well with me. I've never been there before, it's very far away, I don't have connections there, what the gym's like. So I've decided that in 4 weeks' time, on or around the 24th of April, I'm going to be flying out to Dubai. I'll be there for 2 weeks, and then I'll make the 24-hour flight to Tampa, Florida, which obviously sounds like an absolute beast, but provided I can get there a week before the show, that should be enough time to hopefully just about get over the jet lag, and obviously shift any water that I might be holding for from that absolute mammoth travel. So, and at this point, I feel like I need to give a massive shout out to my brother from another mother, Louis Blackmore. This guy's obviously still out in Dubai. I guess I'm partly the reason why he went there in the first place, but he's now entering his like 4th month in the city. He's still going to be there when I get there. We're gonna stay together. We're gonna train together. So really, I'm looking to get through these next 4 weeks of kind of isolation. Groundhog Day feels, day in day out, general prep feels, and then I will fly out there. I'll meet up with Louis. We're gonna, as I said, get an Airbnb together. We'll be training together, and he's effectively gonna be my prep buddy. And it kind of smacks of that brotherhood that I had with Lars. I mean, I remember if you've watched my pro card winning vlog from a couple of years ago, Lars kind of saved my bacon in terms of doing that show in Denmark, and I've kind of had another hero come to the fore in the way of Louis. So I want to just give him a big shout out, because not only is he going to help me out massively over that 2 week period, which ultimately crunch time where stress can be super high, conditions should be super good, and I'll be feeling probably not at my best, but hopefully looking my best. I feel like I really need to give him a bit of a shout out, say thank you for the support that he's going to show me, during that time. And not only that, but I'm really happy to say that he's agreed to come to America with me. So after that 2 weeks in Dubai, we'll make the 24-hour flight together over to Tampa. We've then got 2 weeks in Tampa, and in the middle of that 2 weeks will be my first show, which is the New York Pro in Tampa. And then I plan to stay out in America for about a 5-week period. Now this is changeable, to be honest, but for now that's the plan. And the reason being because I've got a string of shows to do. So after the New York Pro, we'll stay in Tampa for a week, and I've got a 2-week break before the next show. That next show will be the Milwaukee Pro, which is the first time they've run that show. Now, having done a bit of research on this, as I said, it's the first time we've done this show, and that really excites me, because I think that probably means it's not going to be a massive show, which for a rookie season, it's kind of a good thing. So I'll be heading into that show off the back of the New York Pro, hopefully having turned some heads, hopefully having caught the eye of some of the judges. Then I'll be able to turn up to that show, hopefully looking even better than I was in the New York Pro. I imagine stress will have been lifted, some fatigue will have been lifted, and obviously Louis will still be with me, which is unreal. That really does bring a smile to my face, and I'm, as I said, just so grateful to have his support along that journey. From the Milwaukee Pro, we'll go on to Denver, Colorado, and then finish my US road trip, if you like, in California, providing COVID allows it. And really, I can't believe I'm still saying that. I remember last year people asking me what shows I was going to do, and I said, well, COVID dependent. I can't believe that a year later I'm still saying it, but here we are. COVID does appear to be disrupting the show season, but I'm going to do literally whatever it takes to get to that show. The New York Pro is the one that I set my sights on. It's the one that means the most to me. And I just wasn't at peace with sort of giving up and giving in that dream. So we're going to make it happen. Honestly, I think this is going to be the biggest challenge that I've ever faced when competing. I've done abroad shows before, but I've not done 24-hour flights. I've not gone to brand new places, where everything is completely different. But despite the hurdles we face, the show must go on. And if anything, this will just make the end result sweeter. So I had only one chance, and I still have that one chance, and I intend to use that one chance to make a massive wave at the New York Pro.